So if we know that the lower class limit of the first class is 21, that's essentially telling you where you want to start. We want to start at 21 and we want to end somewhere. We don't know where yet. But let's think about it. So they said that the class width is 5. We want it to be 5 big. Now, your gut is probably saying, well, if I'm starting at 21, then I have to end at 26, right? Well, let's count. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. That's not 5 big, that's 6 big. So it's very deceiving on how you should set these up. So we don't want to just add 5 across, but where we do want to add 5 is vertically. If we added 5 vertically, that is going to give us the start of the next one. And we can keep using that same pattern. Oops, if I can write my numbers correctly. And get all of our starting points. So we already said that 26 would make it too big. So if we stopped one before that, that should be 5 big. So 21 to 25 is 5 big. I know, it's deceiving. It looks like it should be only 4, but it's not. You're not subtracting horizontally or adding horizontally. You always use the class width on a vertical basis. So very similar to what we did over here, we can do the same thing on this side to get all of the upper class limits. So the lowers are the starting points, the uppers are the ending points of all of those classes. So we can add 5 and add 5 and add 5 and all the way down. And so everything should be mathematically sound looking vertically. Don't look horizontally. You got to use that class width vertically. This is the hard part, making sure you have this set up correctly. Now comes the tedious part, and you have to count all of those values. Well, I have the answers. So let's just kind of cut to the chase a little bit. So the frequencies are 1, 2, 5, 12, 16, and 12. So I bypassed all of the tally stuff, but obviously if you wanted to fill those in, we could do that pretty quick. And then once you have all of the tallies done, then we got to worry about those relative frequencies. So that's what the tallies would look like if we had went through and just counted appropriately. Now remember, double checking is not a bad thing. So remember how many values or how many data values were in the overall problem. Remember there was 50, right? So let's make sure it adds up to 50. And I'm just going to use the calculator to be safe. So 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 12 plus 16 plus 12 equals 48. So I think I have my numbers backwards. There was 48 students and it was a 50-point quiz. So let's get your facts straight, Lee. So 48. All right. So now we've checked and made sure that that adds up to 48, which is good. But now we got to get our relative frequencies. So now we got to drop your calculator and make some noise. So let's divide 1 over 48. Sorry if that scared anybody. So let's see what 1 divided by 48 is equal to. So now I'm going to just kind of cut to the chase. It's a little bit hard to see, I know. So if we move our decimal point, it should be 2.1%. All right, and then if we take 2 divided by 48, it should be double, right? So 4.2%. Let's see what 5 over 48 is. 10.4. 12 over 48 Well, 12 is a quarter of 48. 16 is a third, so that's 33.3%. And then 12 is another 25. Now again, if you're not confident that you did it right, it doesn't hurt to double check. So 2.1 plus 4.2 plus 10.4 plus 25 plus 33.3 plus 25 equals, that one comes right out to 100%. So we're really good. All right. So hopefully you weren't scared and the noise didn't disturb you, but this is making a little bit of sense. So again, be careful with that class width. These problems are generally going to tell you where to start, how big each class is, and so you should be able to, and how many classes you're going to need. So as long as you have those 3 bits of information, you should be able to get your classes set up correctly. All right, so we're going to skip part B and C, which is the histogram and the frequency polygon, but it's going to be very, very similar to what we did up here. The only difference is we're going to use the entire class in place of where we placed our individual values here. So our first one would have been 21 to 25 here in the middle, and the next one would have been 26 to 30, and so on. So they would have been in the spaces again, and over here they would have been right underneath the line. So 21 to 25 underneath the line, 26 to 30 underneath the line, and so on. So if you got to turn your paper and write it sideways, that's fine. Now in the statistics class, you'll learn a more formal way to label this. So keep that in mind if you're moving on. All right, so let's stop here and we'll pick up a different way to display data in the next example. See you in a minute.